Have you ever wondered how some people have their skills so dialed in, but maybe you've been a little bit of a wanderer? Have you ever felt like you've never quite identified your secret sauce? Maybe you didn't know what you wanted to major in school. Maybe you've been picking jobs that were just the jobs that were available at the right time. And now you're at a point in your life where you say, what am I actually good at? What have I actually done? And how can I leverage what I have done to go where I want to be? I want you to know you're not alone. I have, even in my trials and tribulations in my life, I've often felt a struggle to identify, how to lean in things I would be very good at. I didn't go to school to be a doctor. I didn't know what I wanted to go to school for. I often joke around and tell people I majored in fraternity in college because I just didn't take it very serious in terms of what I actually wanted to do. And it took me a long time to identify the skills to help me achieve. And today I will talk to you how I hit that realization and some tools that you can take home today to get to where you want to be. So first things first, you've identified a why, something that excites you, really drives you, but what now? And the first thing we need to identify are, where have you been successful in the past? So this is a long journey. This isn't something you answer in a day. It might not even be something you answer in a week. You may have to try a few things, and it could take you even longer to identify what is truly the thing that you can lean on the most. But the message here is, regardless of whatever you decide, you have to take action in some path or some way with some skill. So your first thing you should think about is writing down everything that you have had success with in your life. That is the very first step. You may ask the question, well, what the heck does that mean? Start simple. Start with a writing exercise. Lock yourself in a room. Go somewhere where you have no distractions. Take an hour. Take 30 minutes, however much available time that you have, and start writing circumstance and stories of highlights in your life. And if you're trying to drill down, how far back or how close to recent times you go, all of it is the right answer. So start where you are comfortable. If you need to chunk it, start with, what are the top 3 things that you have accomplished in the past 12 months? Write that down. Then write down some follow-up statements for the past year. Write down why these were your top 3 accomplishments. The second part after that, write down what you brought to the table that made that such a great accomplishment. What did you do? What actions did you take? Pause there and reflect. Try to think about, what are the trends or the patterns that you recognize? And just start to assess. Again, there's no right or wrong answer. What you're looking for are patterns and trends. If you're trying to identify skills you are naturally gifted at, which is your objective, you're trying to identify patterns and trends. Once you've done that for this year, then try to chunk it out a little bit farther. Try to say the last 3 to 5 years. That's very important because high likelihood the first skills you're going to leverage are the skills you have spent the most amount of time with recently. So start thinking of the past 3 to 5 years. Expand it. Think of the big highlights, things you were proud of. If you're struggling and saying, I don't know what I'm proud of, then start to identify, what are things other people have come to you for and have been proud of you about. It could be a project at work. It could be a project at home. It could be a project that you did for your family. It could be something that you did in your community. These don't have to be things that you have identified. You may want to consider things that other people have identified about you. And that's something that helped me tremendously when I was doing my own inventory of my own skills. Next part is, after you've done the 3 to 5 years, do the same part. Ask yourself questions. Why was it successful? What actions did you take? Pay attention to the actions that you have taken in those moments in your life, because those actions go directly towards your skills. Then ask the question at a minimum one more time. You've done the past 12 months, you've done the past 3 to 5 years. What about just lifetime accomplishments? It was back to the original question. Start to rewind a little farther back. Maybe just look at your entire adulthood. Maybe think of highlights since you were a child. Again, you're looking for moments where either you were proud of yourself, someone else gave you some form of recognition, and recognize what was the success, what actions you took from that success, and what did other people recognize about those moments as well, about what you brought to those tables or brought to that moment. Once you've identified some patterns, start to consolidate that from all the patterns. There's something that you are consistently always doing, for better or worse. No one's perfect. Try not to focus on the negative. Focus on the positive things. Again, you're looking for things to where you excelled. You brought a success. These are the things that you commonly bring to the table. Once you've identified those skills, then you can start to identify from those patterns, how can you apply that towards your why? And that's the next question in evolution. Start to think about, I've identified all these skills, these patterns, and just start to conceptualize. Think of ideas. Again, this is not about identifying answers at this exact moment. This is about opening the aperture of your mind, of your life, of all the skills that you've potentially accumulated throughout your life, and how do you apply them to things you are naturally gifted at. In summary, when you start to look at all these patterns and trends, the one thing to pay the most attention to are, what are the things that come easy to you? If you want to accelerate financial freedom or accomplish massive goals, you have to lean into things that you do easier than most people. Think about that. If you're interested in hearing more, please watch my next video. Thank you.